القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمين المتين الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Let's all recite durood upon the beloved most noble Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam together. Salli ala nabiyyina salli ala Muhammadin salli ala shafi'ina salli ala Muhammadin. वो जो न थे तो कुछ न था, वो जो न हो तो कुछ न हो, जान है वो जहान की जान तो जहान है. सल्ले अला नबीना सल्ले अला मुहम्मदिन. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator, the nourisher, the sustainer, the provider of the entire universe. Thousands of peace, blessings, salutations, salawat, salam be upon the most noble and beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has granted us the opportunity of witnessing this beautiful day of Jummah in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the month of His beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We make dua through the wasila and the blessings of this month. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all the sick people shifa kamila. MashaAllah, I'm seeing our Dr. Ayub Sahib is here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him and all the sick people complete shifa. May Allah ta'ala grant all those who have left this world the highest abode in Jannatul Firdaus. Last night my auntie passed away in Pakistan. She was in a coma for quite some time now, approximately 1.5 months, lots of pain. And last night, with the will of Allah, she left this world. We make dua, may Allah grant her and all the marhumin the highest abode in Jannatul Firdaus. Nabi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has stated, Sha'ban shahri, that Sha'ban is my month. And this month has a very close connection to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And anything which is connected to the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that thing has a high rank in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, you have many books. You have Tawrat, Zabur, Injil, but Quran is linked to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so Quran becomes the greatest book in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have many angels. Jibreel alayhi salam, Mikael, Israel, Israfil, Harun, Ridwan alayhi salam, many angels alayhi salam. But Jibreel alayhi salam had that special contact with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, so he is the greatest of all the angels in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have many cities in the world. Johannesburg is a city, Pretoria is a city, many cities in the world. But Medina has connection to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Medina became the greatest city in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anything which comes into contact with the Zat of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that becomes great in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because Sha'ban, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself says that Sha'ban is my month, means the closeness which Sha'ban has to me, besides Sha'ban, no other month has that closeness to Muhammad Arabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're not speaking about Ramadan, right? Ramadan is the leader of all the months, subhanallah, the master of all the months, the sultan of all the months of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But from all the other months, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam loved Sha'ban the most. Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha says that we used to see Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam fasting in the month of Sha'ban. How much? That besides Ramadan, we haven't seen Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam fasting so much in any other month the only month he would fast the most was in the month of Sha'ban. And because it's the month of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ulama kiram then say it is the duty of every ummati of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that because this month is your Prophet's month, in this month you must increase the recitation of durood and salawat upon the beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They say every moment you must recite durood, no? Every day, every month, every year. But this month you must increase your recitation of durood upon the beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Everyone make an intention that at least you must recite 313 durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam every day. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions, the closest to me on the day of judgment will be that person who recited the most durood upon me in this world. Who doesn't want to be close to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? A hypocrite wouldn't want to be close to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah, all of us are mu'mineen and believers. We want to be close to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The solution Nabi is giving you, recite the most durood upon me, you will be the closest to me on the day of judgment. Alright, so 313 times, I'm giving you a target, at least 313 times. Everyone must recite durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You get very lengthy durood, durood taj, durood tunajjina, long durood sharif, and you get the shortest durood also, sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is also durood. So when we say read 313 durood, doesn't mean you have to read 313 durood taj. Even if you read 313 sallallahu ala Muhammad, it's also classified as durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How long does it take to recite 313? It won't even take you 5 minutes. Trust me, it won't even take you 5 minutes to recite that amount of durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Whoever has the intention, raise your hand and say, Inshallah. Inshallah, recite durood. The more durood you will recite, subhanallah. Inshallah, when we discuss this as a separate topic, the excellence of durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then you will see the wonders which Allah grants to those people who recite durood upon Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The month of Sha'ban, alhamdulillah, it also has a link and a connection to a very great personality. In fact, I wouldn't be wrong if I say that after the Sahaba-i-Kiram, one of the greatest personalities in the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, one of the greatest personalities, that personality who was a faqih, that personality who was not just a mufti but mufti A'zam, that person who wasn't a muhaddis, he was muhaddis A'zam, that person who wasn't a mufassir, he was mufassir A'zam, that person who wasn't only a mujtahid, he was Imamul Mujtahideen, the Imam of all the mujtahids in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person who is Imamul A'imma, Imam of all the Imams, that person who is Sirajul Ummah, the lamp in the Ummah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that person who is Shamsul A'imma, the sun amongst all the ulama in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that person is Imam A'zam, Imam Abu Hanifa, Hazrat Nu'man bin Sabit radiyallahu ta'ala. And this personality, Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa, has connection with majority of the Muslims across the globe. See, if you are a true Muslim, then you follow one of the 4 schools of fiqh. Either you will follow Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa, then you are called a Hanafi. Or you follow Imam Shafi, you are called a Shafi. You follow Imam Malik, you are called a Maliki. Or you follow Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, and you are called a Hanbali. These 4 schools of fiqh. Besides this, you cannot be any 5th thing. You have to be one of these 4 things, because all of us are muqallid. Muqallid means we need to follow an imam. This is what Islam demands from us. So from these 4 imam, you're going to follow any one of them. And the greatest from these 4 imam is Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa is a tabi'i. Tabi'i means that person who saw a sahabi of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Who saw a sahabi of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam means how close they are to the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that between their time and the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it is only the Sahaba-i-Kiram. That person is called a tabi'i, who saw a sahabi. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Khairul Quruni Qarni, summary of which is, the best time is my time. ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُم. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, after my time, the second best time is the time of my Sahaba Ikram. And after their time, the third best time is the time of the Tabi'een, means those people who saw the Sahaba Ikram. Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa saw 4 Sahaba Ikram in his life and he gained knowledge from them. Number 1, Sayyidina Anas bin Malik, Sayyidina Abdullah bin Abi Awfa, Sayyidina Suhail bin Sa'd, and Sayyidina Abu Tufail Amir bin Wasila radiallahu ta'ala anhu ajmain. 4 Sahaba Ikram he saw in his life. And Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa was the special student of Sayyidina Imam Ja'far Sadiq radiallahu anhu. As I mentioned previously when we were discussing about Sayyidina Imam Ja'far Sadiq, that Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa mentioned that if it wasn't for those 2 years which I spent with Imam Ja'far Sadiq, I wouldn't have considered myself as anything. Whatever I received, it is from the feet of Sayyidina Imam Ja'far Sadiq, who is the member of the Ahl Bayt of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa's name is Nu'man. His name is not Abu Hanifa. That's his kunyat, appellation you say in English. His name is Nu'man. And what is Nu'man? The meaning of Nu'man, Allah, 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 Allah. You know, people wrote books on Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. And which people? Those people who wouldn't follow Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Those people who were Shafi'is, means they had difference of opinion with Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. They wrote books praising Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Imam Shafi wrote books praising Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Imam Ibn Hajar Makki Haytami, he wrote books praising Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti Shafi'i, great muhaddis and mufassir of his time, he wrote books praising Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Imam Ibn Hajar Makki, he writes in his book, he says the word Nu'man. Nu'man refers to blood. And which blood? That blood in your body, which is the main, you can say the central system of everything. If you remove that blood from your body will stop functioning. That specific amount or that specific type of blood is called Nu'man. Then he mentions, he says, why was Imam A'zam's name Nu'man? For the same reason that as that blood is the most important part of your body, Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa is the main source of fiqh, and all the muftis and ulama ikram, they have to refer to Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. If they take him out, then there is no fiqh in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why his name is Nu'man bin Sabit, and his father Hazrat Sabit radiallahu ta'ala anhu once brought his father Sabit's grandfather, means Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa's grandfather, the father of Hazrat Sabit, brought Hazrat Sabit to Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhahul kareem and said, Hazrat, bless him with your du'as. And Sayyidina Ali gave dua to Hazrat Sabit radiallahu ta'ala anhu that may Allah ta'ala grant him pious offspring and good offspring. The dua of Hazrat Ali was accepted, that Hazrat Sabit gave birth to Hazrat Nu'man, who is Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. In other words, he is the effect of the dua of Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhahul kareem. Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa used to complete 61 Qurans in Ramadan. How many Qurans? 61 Qurans. 1 Quran every day, 1 Quran every night. 30, that's 60. And 1 Quran in the entire Tarawih Salah. 61 Qurans Imam A'zam used to complete every Ramadan for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And besides that, Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa made didar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the dream, not once, not twice. See, one thing you must keep in mind, making didar of Allah ta'ala with your physical eyes, this is impossible for everyone. The only person who had that privilege was Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who made didar of Allah with his physical eyes, not in a dream. Besides Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, no one else has been given this excellence to make didar of Allah whilst you are awake. But in the dream, Allah ta'ala has granted his didar to many people. Many awliya, many ulama, many mujtahideen made the didar of Allah ta'ala in their dream, and it is possible. Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa made didar of Allah ta'ala in his dream, not once, not twice, not 10 times, 100 times he made didar of Allah ta'ala in his dream. 100 times he made didar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his dream. Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. And then ulama kiram mention. And they say that Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa, he is the first person to lay the foundation of ijtihad and lay the foundation of fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence in Islam. Let me explain this in simple words for you. Many of you might not understand what I'm trying to say. See, you get the time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the teacher of everyone. In other words, you want to learn how to perform salah, you come to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he will tell you how to read salah. You want to learn how to give zakat, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam will teach you how to give zakat. You want to learn how to fast, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught the Sahaba Ikram how to fast. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam brought the religion of Islam, preached it to Sahaba Ikram. So he is the main teacher of the entire ummah. The people who learnt directly from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam are the Sahaba Ikram. They were in the company of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they stayed with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they ate with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they drank with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they observed every action. How to perform salah, how to give zakat, how to fast, everything they learned from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So the first students of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the Sahaba Ikram of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That much everyone understands? Everyone understands, na? If everyone understands, say Subhanallah. Loudly, loudly, everyone say Subhanallah. If you understand what I'm saying, say Subhanallah. So the first teacher is Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and Sahaba Ikram learn from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. After the time of Sahaba Ikram, now you must know this was a time where Islam spread across the globe. Islam was in Kufa, Islam was in Baghdad, Islam was in Iraq, Islam was in even America, Islam was in South Africa. Islam spread across the globe. Different delegations went, different armies went, different groups went and spread Islam all over the entire globe. After the Sahaba Ikram, now there are a few people who read the Quran of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they read the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. After reading both of these things, they then derived the laws from the Quran and from the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Those people who derive the laws, who take out the laws, Quran or hadith se ahkam nikalte hai, istinbat karte hai, those people who derive the laws from Quran and hadith, they are known as mujtahid. What are they called? Mujtahid. What are they called? Mujtahid. And there are only 4 great mujtahids who passed, as we mentioned in the beginning. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. From that time until now, there is no mujtahid and nor will any mujtahid come. There is no mujtahid, nor will any mujtahid come. Yes, some people have mentioned that Imam Mahdi will be a mujtahid. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about general people. No mujtahid has come after these 4 great imams and no mujtahid will ever come. These 4 are the final mujtahideen. In other words, if you need to follow any mujtahid, you need to follow one of these 4 imams. Now the question arises that, Munasab, why must we follow these 4 mujtahideen? It's a separate topic on itself, inshallah, when we discuss taqleed and why do we need to follow someone. We'll discuss this in detail, but just to give you an understanding. That these people had the ability of deriving the laws from Quran and Hadith. So you will say, Munasab, it's not a problem. I can read the Quran and I can figure out what Allah Ta'ala is trying to tell me. I can read Hadith and I can figure out what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is trying to tell us. I said, it is not so simple. If it was so simple, every person would be a mujtahid in today's time. So I said, Munasab, what do you mean? I said, listen. To be a mujtahid, there are few categories which you need to cross. And ulama ikram mentioned few ranks of those, few things which you need to have the knowledge of to classify as a mujtahid. Number 1, you need to have the knowledge of all the ayat of the Holy Quran in which the laws are mentioned. Approximately 6,666 ayat in the Holy Quran, only 500 ayat mention laws of namaz, roza, zakat, hajj, and laws, ahkam. The other ayat are speaking about the previous anbiya, the previous nations, some advices, some nasihats, different things. But regarding laws and ahkam, there are only 500 ayat. Those 500 ayat, you need to know all of those ayat. You need to know what is the reason those ayat was revealed. You need to know when were those ayat revealed. You need to know under which circumstances were those ayat revealed. You need to know when those ayat was revealed, which Sahaba Ikram were present at that moment. You need to know when those ayat was revealed. Was it revealed for a certain law? Was it revealed for a certain matter? You need to know all of that. You need to know which ayat was revealed first, which ayat was revealed second, which ayat was revealed third, which ayat was revealed fourth. Besides all of this, then you need to know tafsir of all of those ayat. Then you need to know usul tafsir of all of those ayat, means the laws which dictate on the tafsir. You need to know what is sarih, you need to know what is kinaya, you need to know what is majaz, you need to know what is mushtarak, you need to know what is mu'awwal, you need to know what is ibaratul nas, you need to know what is iqtida'un nas, dalalatul nas, isharatul nas. You need to know after all of these things here. That's not all. Then you need to come to hadith. You need to know all those ahadith in which ahkam and laws are mentioned, approximately more than 3,000 ahadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You need to know all those ahadith. You need to know all the narrators of the ahadith. You need to know the lifestyle of each narrator of each hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Then you need to know under which circumstance was this hadith mentioned. You need to know which hadith was mentioned first, which hadith was mentioned second, which hadith was mentioned third. You need to know if there is another hadith which cancels the hukum of this first hadith, then you must act upon the second hadith and not the first hadith. All of this you need to know. Then you need to know usul hadith, means you need to know the categories of hadith. You need to know what is sahih, you need to know what is mawdu, you need to know what is hasan, you need to know what is da'if, you need to know what is hasan li zati, hasan li ghairi. After all of these things here, then you have to know Arabic grammar as well. You have to know nahw, you have to know sarf, you have to know Arabic grammar. With that you have to learn balaghat as well, which is philosophy. You have to know what is bayan, you have to know what is badi, you have to know what is ma'ani, you have to know what is nasikh, you have to know what is mansukh, you have to know what is taqreeb, you have to know all of these sciences. After mentioning all of this, then ulama ikram say, with all of these sciences and much more, a person's mind needs to be sharp. He needs to remember whatever he learned. He needs to know whatever he learned. He needs to know how to implement whatever he learned into passing a law and ahkam. And after all of that, the last thing he needs is the fadl and the karam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to choose his mind for these laws. After all of these categories are fulfilled, then a person starts walking on the steps of becoming a mujtahid in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone said, Munasab, what's so difficult of taking laws from Quran and Hadith that even I can do? I said, this much knowledge, you, your father, your grandfather, and a few generations up don't have that much knowledge. You want to know how much is this knowledge? Then listen, that personality who had expertise in over 50 different sciences, Imam Ahmad Raza Khan, Ala Hazrat, an expert in almost every science. When he speaks, someone asked, are you a mujtahid? He said, no, I am the student, I am the slave of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. So you can't understand the knowledge of Imam Ahmad Raza Khan. You want to speak about the knowledge of the mujtahideen, of Imam A'zam, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. You can never ever reach that knowledge, nor can you have any understanding of that knowledge, nor can you ever comprehend that knowledge. When you can't do that, then your duty is to follow those imams. In following them, you will be successful in this world and the hereafter as well. So those 4 imams who I'm talking about, the greatest from those 4 imams is Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. And everyone took blessings from Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Imam Shafi himself says, whenever there was a problem in my life, I would go to the mazar of Sayyidina Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Then I would perform 2 rakat. And how I would perform these 2 rakat? According to the teachings of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. He was a Shafi. But he says, no. When I'm at the mazar of Imam A'zam, I perform 2 rakat according to how Imam A'zam taught his students. He says, by Allah, I would make a dua, and immediately my dua was accepted in the court of Allah through the blessings of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Imam Shafi is actually a student of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa, indirectly. Because the day Imam A'zam left this world, that day Imam Shafi was born. Allah Ta'ala took one giant away from Islam and gave another giant to Islam. Imam Malik, he was also a student of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, also a student of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. All of you heard the name Imam Bukhari. Nah? Also of Bukhari Sharif. He is Imam al-Muhaddiseen, the leader of all the Muhaddiseen. Imam Bukhari's teachers were students of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Person with such a high rank. And then you come to the end where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam speaks about Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, "O my Sahaba Kiram, لو كان الدين عند الثريا." If the deen of Allah Ta'ala, the knowledge of the deen of Allah Ta'ala was on the highest star, لو كان الدين عند الثريا لذهب به رجل من فارس. When one person from Persia, he would go even to that highest star to get the knowledge of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muhaddiseen say this person who Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is talking about is none other than Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa Nu'man bin Sabit. That's how much knowledge Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa had. Until Qiyamah, everyone is indebted to the favors of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Today we received our deen. Today we know how to perform salah, we know how to pay zakat, we know how to fast, we know all of this here. All the credit goes to Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. Whenever we want to perform salah, we don't have to open the books of hadith and look for different hadiths. We don't have to open the Quran and look for different laws. Imam A'zam took everything and he gave it to you. You want to know how to follow the teachings of Islam, then you take the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa is buried in Baghdad Sharif. 70 years he spent in this world. He was born in 80 years after Hijrah and he passed away in 150 years after Hijrah. 70 years he spent in this world, and he left this world in Baghdad Sharif. At the moment his mazar is also in Baghdad Sharif. Those who went, subhanAllah, you must have seen. May Allah take all of us, inshallah, azza wa jal. Mufassireen and Muhaddiseen ulama kiram mention, they say, subhanallah. They say, you know whose mazar is in Baghdad Sharif? Sultan al-Awliya Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani Ghaus Azam. And they say Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa's mazar is also in Baghdad Sharif. Then they say, look at the qudrat of Allah Ta'ala, the hikmat and the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In matters of tariqat, on the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you're looking for a perfect guide, then the perfect guide is Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani Ghaus Azam radiyallahu anhu. And in matters of shariat, the namaz, roza, zakat, hajj, you want a perfect guide, and that perfect guide is Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa Nu'man bin Sabit. Ulama Kiram said both the Imams, Imam of Shariat and Imam of Tariqat, are resting in the land of Baghdad Sharif. Nobody must think Mulana Sahib said that these are the great Imams, so I'm undermining or I'm disrespecting any of the other Imams. No. All four Imams are haq. Imam Azam is haq, Imam Shafi is haq, Imam Malik is haq, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, all four Imams are haq. There is no doubt on this here. But yes, there is one ustad amongst all the students, and that ustad is Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa Nu'man bin Sabit radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So this Imam, today you'll learn something about this Imam. And the people have written books and whole paragraphs on this great Imam. Today you must be proud to call yourself a Hanafi. You must call yourself a Hanafi, that I am following a certain Imam, I am following Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa, I am a Hanafi, you must say it proudly. And why do we need to follow? There's lots of detail, as I mentioned, inshallah, when we discuss the matter of taqleed, right? That why do we follow an Imam, what's the need of following an Imam? Inshallah, we'll discuss this matter in detail, but a brief description and introduction I gave you of Imam A'zam Abu Hanifa. We make dua, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable all of us to follow in his footsteps, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable all of us to act upon the true teachings of Islam. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Just a few announcements, everyone please keep in mind. Number one,